of you who are with us. Hello, Instagram fam. What's up, YouTube land? Welcome
Hello,
you, welcome
friends.
me.
What's up,
So, for old
Buttercups?
time's sake, let's give you a little bit of the branding. If you're over on YouTube, you guys can.
What's
All
up,
right.
friends? We're back. YouTube land. Hello. Hello, IG. If you see us like bouncing our eyes around, we're not being shifty. We're on two platforms. So,
Girl,
Kendrin,
the
here,
girls.
chucked in for duty.
What's up? What's up? It is Deja. Let me make sure I'm on the actual comment side. And what are you drinking, friend?
So, I have been known to say that I do not tequila. However, shouts out to the Receipts podcast. Um, I have found a few that I fancy a little. So I'm doing the 21 Seeds hibiscus tequila, along
Okay.
with some hibiscus ginger beer.
All
Delicious.
right.
So
Sounds fanciful. Okay,
I
Miss
still I
Girl.
still don't go as hard with the tequila as I do with other beverages. However, this is what I'm having.
So in the year of our
That's just
Lord
coloration.
2022, September to be exact, in Virgo season, Virgo fashion, the girl has tequila. I am very astonished. Tequila is my drink of choice. So yeah.
Yes, I'm a brown girl. I'm a brown girl through and through, my liquor and my skin. So, um,
Before we even
every
get
now and
into the
again you have to
madness,
mix it up. Hmm.
absolutely. Before you even get into the madness, I have to do a little bit of pop culture. So these are some of the things that were top of mind on my timelines, both Instagram and TikTok. Your girl is on TikTok. Oh my God, can y'all believe it?
Come on,
Child.
Tikis.
Anyway, if you're
Come on,
over on the
Pocket.
YouTube, you can see you can see the little topics that we're going through. So first on the docket, shout out to Miss Kalana
Hey,
Barfield
Chef.
Brown. She has a collection with Target, which is my little inspired jacket is today. So the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because it has been a damn debacle with this line going into Target. A lot of people have been talking about over on the TikTok, the clock app, as Kendra calls it, have been talking about how they're going into Target and they cannot find it. And that's what I told Kendra when I texted her, because we were like texting early yesterday, the day that it's supposed to have been in stores, trying to get some of the pieces. And there's like, I basically, there was no end cap or anything like that. None of the her like photos, like the ones that are pictured here on YouTube live now, none of that stuff was up in the store. Literally, I just had to kind of follow the Black women that were there, and it was only like a few of us.
Hmm.
But a lot of the girls over on the clock app, as you call it, have been saying that every location they've gone in, this is like all up and down the East Coast, that the line is not readily available. So I don't know what the hell's going on with that.
Well, I will say
Shout out
this. It was not, I don't think it's available. It was available in all stores for sure. There are two Targets pretty close together to me, and both of them had the things. However, one one of the Targets usually has like a smaller collection. Um, and then when they do the releases or whatever, even when they did the tab stuff, like it was like only half was there. And then when they did, so I went to the other one. I always have to go to the other one. So I just skipped that smaller one and went to the super Target. And they had I would say they had a decent selection. Like they didn't have everything, but they did have quite a bit, and I bought quite a bit. So the only thing I felt that kind of irritated me a little bit was
Mhm.
at my Target, the girls were not ready. The girls were not ready. I
That's
popped
one of the
into
things
my
that I heard
local
too.
I popped into my local Target, and I'm thinking like I happened to be up. Like I didn't wake up for the lunch. I didn't set any alarms or anything. I just happened to be up. And so I was like, okay, let me pop by. I'll give them 8:30, 8:45. Like it'll be fine. Everything will be set up. People will be there. when I tell you they had just put together the display,
Mhm.
and then I was shocked. Like, they had the racks that they had brought out of the back, and I was shopping
Mhm.
off the racks from the back. I didn't even shop in the display because there was nothing in the display. And then one of the women who was there with me, she was trying to kind of wait, and the store associates were like, "Yeah, no, go ahead. You can go ahead. If it's out here, you can have it or whatever." And then I noticed, um, it was funny because I was talking to them and they were saying like, I don't know if they thought that people were going to be looking for it or checking for it like that, because apparently like the store manager was like, "Oh, this is going to be a big deal," and no one was kind of taking them seriously. So I guess they didn't like prioritize getting the setup right on the front end, like doing it the night before or after hours or
Right.
early in the morning. Like, they didn't do any of that. So
Mhm.
yeah, I can attest to that in my location as well. And then even as they unloaded about 2 racks, and then they were kind of like, "Well, we have to be finished now." And they took a whole rack of the clothes back to the back room. They were kind of like, "Okay, I guess orders are starting to come in, like the to go orders or whatever has started coming in." I don't know if it was for
Yeah.
the collection or for Target at large, but they took half the stuff back. I mean, like a third of the stuff back. So I was
Child,
just like,
what
this
in
is
the
odd.
ghetto?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
and
this
the
is
thing is,
odd.
like, to your point, your experience is not like uncommon. A lot of the stuff that, because like on TikTok, the algorithm, they'll just keep showing you the same things over and over,
Yeah.
from different creators or whatever. But like a lot of the girls were saying that they were having the same experience, and then you could see them like shopping off of, like, to your point, shopping off of the racks, or it wasn't up at all. One of the girls reported that the manager came out and told them that they that it was going to be up and available on Monday, or that they would have it up later in the week, and that it wasn't a requirement that it was supposed to be out, but like it's launched on the website that it's available
Yeah.
in store. So
And
like,
then
what you mean?
I also noticed that when I was like looking in the app, so there were 2 locations near me, but the downtown location, which is actually a pretty decent sized Target, and I've seen other collaborations there, the downtown Target didn't even get it. And I was just like, how did the downtown Target not get it? Like, that's what seemed to me like those would be the people who know who Kalana is. It would be people who are like, with it and urban and popping or whatever. And it
Girl,
wasn't
a
even
mess.
in that store at all. Like, when I looked on the app, it didn't seem like they stocked it there at all, which I just was like, this is odd.
It's seeming to be a mess. So I'm gonna go out and peruse some more this week to see what else I can find in some of the other local Targets. I got one
Yeah.
piece in store, and then like I was telling Kendra yesterday, I'm just repeating myself, but I had to order some stuff because like a lot of things I did not have,
Yeah.
and I went out to the store where I assumed there wouldn't be a whole lot of people checking for it, which is probably why it wasn't out. So
Yeah.
what
I am
else?
gonna. I know
Oh, go
there
ahead.
was stuff in the app. I know that I checked the app earlier today, and it seemed like there was still quite a bit of
Mhm.
inventory on the app. So I'm gonna try and order a couple more pieces, and I'm gonna probably do a try on at some point and then return. Not everything. Some things I'm gonna keep. I'm not one of those
Yeah.
people. But
Oh, and we have,
just go ahead.
sorry, potentially, don't hold us to it, but we
Don't announce it
possibly have.
until we know. No, 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 no. Until we know we're gonna. No, 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 no. Potentially, we're not gonna do that. Um, no, 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 no.
Kendra said, veto that idea. Okay.
Mm-mm. No,
So I'm
potentially.
waiting for 2 more pieces to come, and
Yeah.
then to, like Kendra said, I'm gonna do some more try on stuff. I tried on some things in the store, but like the line is super oversized. So like make sure that you are either sizing down. Kalana said that you should size up. I don't imagine why you would want to do that, but like
You should. The sizing
um
was kind of, I won't say all, I mean, it was kind of all over the place. Let me just be honest. Um, the and she said that on like her stories or whatever the day of the
mhm.
pants, all of the bottoms, you need to size up. Possibly 2 sizes, especially if you're going for an oversized look. For the
The
jackets,
interesting thing is, for the plus size, the girls were saying that like when you like sized up, it was too big.
okay.
So like
Well,
the
wait,
the
I'm
pieces
saying
that I tried
it's
were too
different
big.
categories. It's different categories though, because I found
Okay.
the outerwear to be incredibly oversized. So I had to ended up sizing 2 sizes down. And it still has that oversized look, but I just didn't want to look like I was swimming in my clothes. And then for like the tops and stuff, they were true to size. So I think it depends on what you're trying on. That is whether it's, you know, the sizing.
Either way, girl, I like it. The Target to make sure you're supporting Kalana. The fits are very cute.
Something that pissed me off in the app, they did not put the cutest stuff in the app. Like they didn't showcase the best options, like, or outfits. So like there was the mixed plaid suit, which I had never seen before until I walked into Target. Never seen it. And she hasn't worn it either. So I was just like, why is that not? And like if you click on it, or if you click on the blazer, it'll bring it up in the mixed plaid as one of the color options, but the main color option is like black or something. And I was just like, it was just a miss. The rollout was like just a miss.
It's not, the rollout is not looking good.
No,
it's not looking
not
good.
On the app and not in the stores. And compared to how they rolled other people out, including Tab, frankly, it's like, what was y'all doing with Kalana? Why y'all treat her like that?
Even with Tab stuff, whenever I went into the local Targets here, I did not see her stuff anywhere.
Oh, I didn't have that problem. There were two Targets, and they both had it front and center here. Two Targets that I shot. So I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, on to the next. So in the Royals news, monarchy news, I know this is not nothing that we care about, you know, but the Queen has passed. But I thought it was interesting, all of the play that's been happening. So the photo that we have pictured here on YouTube is Princess Diana and Princess Meghan, and they've done several side-by-sides over the years since she has been a part of the royals, essentially, as her doing like a nod to Harry's mom. But I just thought this was cute, and how the girls over on Instagram and Twitter are going ham about how Meghan finna come through and fuck everything up. So we'll see. Well, all right, and finally,
wait, hold on before we move on. I know we do a lot of shout outs to the doll, Wine and Chill, Stephanie over at Wine and Chill. She has a really good, what is it, Colonizer Exposed?
Yeah.
On the Queen. So if you are interested in history and in facts and things of that nature, go check it out. I'll drop the link in the description box. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, please do. All right. So Kendra, you're going to have to turn the sound on for this one, honey. So the last thing that I'm sharing over here on YouTube, actually, I might be able to do it where I'll play it from here. Girl, we are in freaking Mercury retrograde.
Oh God.
I was just thinking, sometimes you should judge people
by
the cover of their book, or however you say the saying. And the reason why is because sometimes you will spend your time with people and always be reading between the lines, and actually they're as literal as it can get. Okay, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck, honey. Stop thinking everything is all this or that. Sometimes people are fucked up.
So that was a little word from Miss Kiki on this beginning of Mercury retrograde. It actually started, I believe, yesterday. Either Sunday or yesterday. So we are officially in Mercury retrograde. That means like your technology might be effing up, old people coming back, family members, relationships, all that type of jazz. So just be on the lookout and be careful in these streets. Okay. Where would you like to start?
Excellent. Let's go Housewives. Let's do Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Ciao. I feel like this was the most boring first episode of a reunion show that I have seen in a long time.
100%.
It was just stale. And I'm just like, what is happening? Like, it was like they were like, I don't know, like they was revving to go and it just never got going.
But honestly, I feel like the reunions have gotten like that because they're dragging them out so much that it's like, if y'all would just get to the tea, we would only have to be here for 2 episodes. Oh, what are you drinking? Did you say?
You know what? She didn't. My bad.
Okay.
We have the rest of my Naomi Rosé. Here you go. It's a fan favorite over here. But yeah. No, I honestly, it just was awkward. Like it was a whole lot of awkward pauses. I just don't understand what happened with this particular reunion as to why did we even see any of this? Like that stuff, that banter back and forth, and like the very dry, like there was nothing there between Sonya and homegirl. What is her name? I forgot her name. Yes.
I also
Those
didn't like the
points were
seating
so
arrangement.
awkward.
I
I
saw that
know.
DJ Richie Sky talked about this. I'll see if I can link the video down below. But I remember him talking about the seating arrangement. I was like, no way. No way.
Yeah. I didn't see anything
It was
beforehand,
just
but I know
odd.
another one of the YouTubers, It's Rocks, she also talked about that too. Typically in Housewives tradition, it's usually the person who's had the most like camera time that sits next to Andy. In this particular season, it was Marlo and Sheree, which was odd. Like who has like the,
Right.
not camera time, but the biggest storyline.
Like
and
the
so I'm
mess.
like, I mean, yeah, okay. Well, if that's the case, definitely mess on Marlo's end, but Sheree,
I thought it was going to be Marlo and Candy. And the reason why I didn't like, I had two thoughts about that. The reason why I didn't like how they did it, how they arranged it, is because you had Drew and Sonya sitting next to each other. And typically they don't sit like the enemies next to each other like that.
That part.
They would have put somebody in between.
Yeah.
Like Sheree should have been in between Drew and Sonya or whatever, but neither one of them really, both of them could have been in caps on opposite couches if we be honest. Because who cares? And then Candy at the end, I was like, is Candy ready to make her escape? Because that didn't sit well with me. With her being on the end like that, that's disrespectful. Everybody knows that the housewives, you sit in the order of importance. And Sheree does not beat Candy in the order of importance. I mean, she is an OG, I guess maybe for that, but I didn't like the seating arrangement at all.
I'm still just like, they just revving to go. And it doesn't seem like there's any steam in the engine. So it also seemed like Andy was not really interested in doing this damn reunion either. So we'll see what is going to happen.
I will say Marlo's, story really, she had me crying. Like when I was watching the end of the reunion, when she was opening up about being in foster care and like how many foster homes she had been in and just all that she's been through, like she really had me like full on crying. But then she Marlo being Marlo, she like weaves in stuff that's like, girl, not that part. That wouldn't had nothing to do with it. So Kenya was kind of like, no, we're not. I don't feel any sort. Like I feel bad that she had that struggle, but at the end of the day, like she's still terrible. And
totally agree. I think the funny thing for me though is it's kind of like the people who have the most in common are Kenya and Marlo, but like they just cannot seem to get right. And it's just kind of, I feel like Marlo has a lot of growing that she needs to do.
Yeah.
Still at this point. Like I think that I don't necessarily know that Kenya has gotten past that stage of her life, but like the Kenya that we got in the previous seasons, like early on when she first joined the cast, is a totally different person than she is now.
Yeah.
So we just gonna have to see how this plays out.
It's not giving.
It's boring.
I actually liked Kenya this season. I really enjoyed her. She was a hoot for me. I enjoyed her. For the first time, because I don't think I've ever liked Kenya, but she was just kind of stayed this season, which I appreciated.
I feel like this is the shortest season of Housewives that we have ever gotten. Hi.
I'm fine with that.
To the party.
I'm fine with that. Honestly,
it was like super short. Granted, it was no storylines to be had besides just.
You guys, Sheree was a storyline show, which the rollout has been a hot mess.
Them people that said that stuff was on Amazon through the Shein, I was dead. Like what?
It was so much.
She's giving you Shein clothing. Come on, Sheree. Yeah. Come on, sis.
And I feel like there's a time and place for that, but like she could have mixed that in with some of her original stuff, and like maybe the people wouldn't have clocked so quick. But it was just like, girl, I got this set already.
Ain't that it? Like, what is going on, boo boo? Like, you done waited all this long to have this show to then turn around and give us Shein fits and fashions. Like, what? But the
of course,
other
I was
thing
watching
too.
videos about that too, which were really funny on the tube. I'll link one down in the comments. But go ahead.
Oh,
We're in the
please.
description box.
The other thing too is like that whole storyline with Tyrone. I think I was watching I was watching Forest Rock, and she was saying, this is another YouTuber, but she was saying that like she feels like at this point the Tyrone thing was literally just fabricated for her to have a storyline on this show. That and the daggone She by Sheree foolishness. But like Sheree just been lying about stuff that don't make no sense.
She was talking about Tyrone several seasons ago, like when she was on before.
At the same time as the fashion
Nene
show
was talking about it. Nene was talking about knowing him and all of this stuff too. So I don't know if it was totally fabricated, but girl.
Yeah, but it's from like a decade ago.
No, like it wasn't a decade ago. It was like a couple seasons ago. Maybe a few seasons ago.
Because remember she tried to run play that with Bob for a little bit. And that was the last season that her and Nene was on the same season.
No, I don't know if it came through like a friend of or whatever, but they definitely talked about Tyrone for sure on a season.
Either way, it's just foolish. But then when they got to Sheree and that good old country ass Martell, I was just like,
I ain't ever wanted two people not be together so bad in my life.
Listen, she is really living her Stella fantasy, okay? She's getting her groove back. And if that's all you getting out of the situation, sis, I'm not mad. Martell Holt is fine as you know what.
And that's fine. If that's all that she's getting out of it, I'm so happy for her. But he is absolutely 100% exhausting. And all them kids, and she got to plan her canoodling based on what Melanie doing down to Huntsville. It's too much. It's too much. Sheree is a 50-some-odd-year-old woman. She don't need to be doing all of that.
I mean, but if she's having a good time, let her ride the ride and, live good for a little bit.
Jesus Christ. She just seems committed to how you went from okay. How you went from prison bag to this crazy. I don't know. It's just too much. And he's not bright.
And not for
dumb gets to my nerves more than anything else, but
Who? What'd you say?
I said dumb. Marcel is not bright. He's not bright.
No, we know that. But according to Kenya, it's not about this head. It's about the other one. And
it's fine. But like I said, I just
ride. Okay, it's all right.
I just want Sheree to be with somebody who got all the monies to like take her out on the town and just be. Martell got 5 kids, babies.
Again, she is getting dick down. That is what this relationship is. Because I'm like, she's not even saying the energy Sheree was giving is contrived for television, right? But also,
good time, not a long time. Got it.
Yeah, like no, this is like some cougar, cougar get back because he my age. So like, yeah, do your thing, girl.
I guess. I can't imagine wasting my time with that man. All right. Fine or not.
I'm not about to say nothing else.
Yikes.
Woo, child, the ghetto. Well, since we're talking about that man, and the show was boring as all hell, so we just gonna move right on along. Love and Marriage Huntsville actually came back from their like mid-season break or whatever have you, and so this particular episode is basically them finally getting on that couples trip. So it's the Scotts. I don't know, Lewis and homegirl. This is terrible. I don't remember these people's names. And Kimmy and Maurice, Marceau and Tisha, and then Lewis and homegirl. I don't know.
Tiffany is her name. Ooh, I had to reach too.
Girl, so you've not seen this episode. That first episode is boring. I will give you that. It is boring. Tiffany is delusional and not in a good way. Tiffany is hell-bent on having another child, but like you're not even attending to the relationship that you're in, considering that you are working a lot. You're chasing after like, you know, the accolades and the business and the whatever else have you, which is great, but you're not going to necessarily be able to do both. And the issue that she is not seeing is that her husband is already calling a foul. Like, this is not going to work. He feels like he's not getting enough attention as it is. And so in their pseudo therapy, this is the weirdest fucking therapy I've ever seen. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Mm-hmm.
But in their therapy with the Dr. Francis and his wife, there's a point where the other couples, Kimmy specifically, calls them out, and it's just kind of like, okay, so basically you all are giving, it's good for the gander but not for the goose, so you can tell us about our relationships and what we need to do and so on and so forth, you know, basically giving unsolicited advice. But then when it comes to taking that same advice, and not necessarily from the couples, just from the doctor who's seeing you for the first time and how you all operate, like it's very much good for the gander, not for the goose. Like, we're fine. We don't have any issues. Like, and then of course Lewis is the consummate philosopher, so he is
prison philosopher.
He's very much doing like a intellectualization of all of the things that are happening in the relationship. He like summarizes it away, as opposed to acknowledging that he has feelings about whatever the case is. Yes. And so everybody else is just kind of looking at them like, what the fuck is going on there? And then you have Tisha and Marceau.
Of course. Wait, before you move on, I mean, just for the record, I mean, I know I didn't watch, but like, acknowledging the facts of something are not the same as talking about feelings or talking about how you can move forward and improve certain things. And it also seems to me like we talked about this before, how the men on this show are very traditional in a patriarchal sense. And so it didn't seem that Lewis, wasn't it? I did good there.
You did.
So it didn't seem in the previous parts that Lewis was all that interested in taking care of a child either. Like he seemed to be like, well, Tiffany, if you decide to do this, then this on you. And I'm just like, well, it'll be y'all's child.
What you mean? Hello?
How you gonna participate?
Like, all we're doing is the making of said child?
I don't understand. What is it gonna be?
Like, where they do that at? That ain't how that works.
On. I mean, plenty of people do it, but y'all, it's not my ministry. Okay, go ahead.
Hello. Okay, praise God, amen. But then you have Marceau and Tisha that are basically sitting in and just gloating. They're not really saying anything at this point. They're just kind of looking at the fallout with the Lewises. Wait, that's not his name is Lewis. What is their name? Whitlow. I don't know. That's what it is.
There you go.
Whitlow. Had to search back into the
You got there.
So basically they're just kind of sitting there looking at them gloating, like all this time they've been talking about how they've been together for 16 years and they've, you know, had their ups and their downs and this and that and so on and so forth. And now they're finally, you know, being able to bear witness to the bullshit that they have been calling out the whole time about the Whitlows. And I'm just kind of like, I mean, clearly we all have said at some time or another that they got onto the show with the preconceptions that they had because they were viewers, just like the rest of us. So that's where their critiques were coming from, not because they actually knew you all and had relationships.
Yeah.
So
and also, like Marceau and Tisha, being together is not the same as having a relationship that anybody, literally anybody else would want, just so we're clear. Just so we're, I mean, my God.
So Tisha did an interview with DJ Richie Sky. We're shouting out a lot of YouTubers. Clearly we are YouTubers who watch YouTubers. So, but she did an interview with him right before the airing of the latter part of the season. And she talked about like all of her accomplishments and like all the things. And I'm just like, all this time, like we have known or have heard that the homegirl is not dumb, but like you have been playing dumb this whole time, and it's like, girl,
No,
like she
I
had
told
like
you that. Remember, I told you she had a master's degree in like finance or something. Now she's got like a master's degree in real estate or something.
she's like a broker, like they, because he
Yeah,
talked
she's a
about that.
like,
I mean, I
yeah.
knew these things, like, because she talked about it early on, like that first, I guess it was like the pilot season or whatever, when we were first introduced to them, and she talked about her at that time going to get either her broker's license or finishing her MBA, something, one
Yeah.
of the two. But
But
either
at
way,
that
like,
time, she had already had a master's degree in finance, because I remember watching her on the Sister Circle, which is like obviously a now defunct TV show, but whatever. But she was talking about all of her credentials at that point too. So she's only gotten more. We've seen her get more credentials since she's been on the show.
girl, I'm just, I appreciate that she finally is like talking about her accolades, but at the same time, it's like, girl, at some point you got to stop playing stupid for these cameras. Because the other thing too is the thing that she talked about in that interview was that on camera, the relationship between she and Marcel, she knows that he's joking, but the rest of us don't know that. So it just looks to us as though you're playing dumb to like the foolishness, and he's just being silly. So it leads to this belief system that people have that he's been out here laying it low and spreading it wide.
Also, I think like with her, I don't know if she's playing it dumb for the camera so much as like she takes a very subservient role in her relationship. So it seems like she's more so willing to fall back. Yeah, and not assert herself because this is a show about the marriages and the relationships. And honestly, because Melody and Martell, they came out the gate swinging, attacking their relationship. So I feel like if Melody and Martell hadn't have come out swinging like that, we may be getting a fuller version of Tisha. But it's like she has to protect her relationship now and has to be on high alert for any and everything, because these people have been, you know, grimy to her.
But like everybody has been like making commentary about that relationship, with the exception of like, I'll say like Kimmy. Kimmy hasn't really said too many things, but like
because her husband is the same way. Kimmy gets away with it because Kimmy gets away with it a lot because Kimmy will say it on camera and she's just more forward. And also she's older. They got married later. That was his second marriage. So she doesn't have all of the stuff that comes along with, you know, that Tisha has from this being like her children's father and like the whole, all of that pressure, I feel like.
I don't know. I'm hopeful that as we continue to go on, that Tisha will display a little bit more. We've gotten a little bit more out of her over the last 2 seasons, so we'll see. That's really all I got. This first episode really wasn't a whole lot going on. It's just them being in this house having couples therapy. So
yes,
that's that on that. Parlaying it over though, wasn't Quad was on the sister, what was you call it? Sister to sister?
Quad, yes, God. I love Quad. Quad is one of those people that is like born to be on television. She is in the vein of like a Phaedra, or like, I love Phaedra. Phaedra just humors me.
Faye.
I don't cackle. I'm okay. Going back to Atlanta for 2 seconds. I hope, especially we have seen an Apollo, I hope if Candy makes the exit, it gives room for Phaedra
to come on back in.
Just
you
saying.
Know that clause is strong. Candy was like, I will not be on this show that if homegirl is here.
And Phaedra was on Dubai. She went on an episode or 2 of Dubai.
Yeah, because she's friends with Brooke.
Allegedly.
Right. Exactly. But I'm not gonna. Girl, speaking of them, that reunion
cracks me up. Holy God, Phaedra cracks me up.
We are all over the place with this Housewives franchise. But yes, we're not covering the Dubai this season. But if you watched it, girl, you know it was good. It's already over with. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice here. So Married to Medicine. This was not on the menu, but because you mentioned the sister to sister, I thought about Quad, Married to Medicine. Ding! Baby, this foolishness between Dr. Heavenly and all of the girls that has been playing out over the last couple of weeks, granted that it has died down just a wee bit, but the thing that gets on my nerves is just kind of like, we have a video up a couple of weeks ago talking about whether or not Dr. Heavenly was a bad friend. But it's just kind of like, it's a little bit of that trait in all of them, because in this week's episode, the new girl was going back and forth with Toya.
Who was the new girl? Oh,
She's
yeah,
the
they
lawyer.
didn't see eye to eye from jump.
No, and it's just like, Toya, you can't be saying stuff to people that you don't know.
Andra, that's her name, or it's Audra or Andra. It's one of the two.
One of the two. But either way, it's just like, you can't be, you like, pick your battles and like make your friendships, you know what I'm saying? Like, get to know someone before you start making like little jokes, because you don't know what's going to land and what's not going to land. Just kind of like when the Sanjas had like the mover situation and like y'all were so offended by that shit. Like, same token, the foolishness with Toya and Andra is the jokes that she made about like her being a lawyer, but it was like very backhanded and snide. So it wasn't, I don't feel like it was a joke. It was a dig.
Nothing that Toya had said about Andra or Andra or Audra or whatever her name is.
Child, we sorry we butchering your name, baby.
Sorry, girl. Nothing that she has said has been a joke. I haven't caught completely up, but it was like, if you've been here long enough, you know nobody irritates my soul like Toya Bush Harris. There is not one person on reality TV, I think, I'm willing to be wrong about that irritates my soul more than Toya Bush Harris. Because like, why are you coming for somebody else's accomplishments, dear?
Because she don't have no.
All you have accomplished is running Eugene into the ground, and we have an episode on that too.
Child, so when you do catch up, friend, when you see the conversations that are being had, that Eugene is having about his experience as like an ER doctor and how like he's unhappy, and like he talks briefly about, in this particular episode, he did like make like a formal apology to her on television about whatever was going on within their household. But it's just like, girl, like there's no wherewithal. There's no like awareness around like he was a medical doctor in the emergency room during a fucking pandemic, sis. Your experience and his experience are totally different. And there's not to say that one is like worse than the other, but I feel like if there was an Olympics for that, he would win.
Of course. He was literally there watching people die. Like,
and potentially could have died himself. There's a clip, I don't know if it was in this week's episode or the previous one, where he's talking about how he's trying to save this woman's life, and like she's like coughing, and like he's so close to her, and he's just panicked, like, I want to make sure that I keep her alive, but at the same time, like, oh my God, like I'm putting myself and my family in jeopardy. Like, that's a lot to be processing all at the same time. 100%. And still trying to maintain keeping not just this client, but several other clients. Excuse me.
And it's been, I mean, listen, lots of people have gotten separated, divorced. All of the pandemic has been hard on all people who are in couples.
Period.
People who are
even so many people who is no longer together, honey.
Yeah, it's like, it's been a lot. Speaking of which, I know you don't watch this, and then we'll come back. But like, Sister Wives.
Oh, we can move right on over, because baby, you ain't watched anything else. That was really it. We're just watching it play out with the bad friendships, and I'm glad that Dr. Contessa finally is speaking up and speaking out, even though she never was one to not say anything. Yeah, I thoroughly appreciated how she has, like, come through. Like, you gonna be coming through with your chest poked out. Well, I'm gonna poke mine out too. You're not finna bully me. And I'm with that. And Dr. Contessa, I am not gay, but Dr. Contessa is fine as hell, okay? Sis is fine.
Beautiful. She really, really, really is.
Dr. Scott.
That's how I feel about Sheree. That's how I feel about Sheree, though. Like, every time I see Sheree, I'll be like, God damn, Sheree is fine. Every time. Like, even when she came on the reunion, I was like, shit.
Beautiful. She slayed more than anybody else.
She did.
Her outfit, the hair, the makeup, so good. Gorgeous.
It was so good.
So good.
Anyway, I was saying something about Sister Wives and how the pandemic broke their relationship up. Y'all, listen, I know that I'm probably in the minority over here, but Sister Wives is top tier mess. Sister Wives and Seeking Sister Wife, top tier mess.
So wait,
Seeking Sister Wife is over. So if you want to go like binge that, you go the first episode, you're gonna be like, huh? That?
Girl,
huh?
Ray said Toya is insufferable.
Oh, she is absolutely insufferable. I cannot stand her. Anyways, but yes, if you want some friends, if you want something good to watch for a hot mess, watch Seeking Sister Wife and then start catching up on Sister Wives. You got to start last season to see what was going on down to Sister Wives. But the pandemic broke up their happy home, y'all.
Question. So, because I watched a little bit, you know, I'd be dabbling into the shows over there.
Yes.
The first wife is the one that left the relationship, right?
She stepped out of the relationship. That's correct.
Well, what's that
but
mean?
She's still there.
She stepped out? Did she go?
She had an emotional affair, and then she had an emotional affair. Then she was catfished in the emotional affair, but then he never forgave her, even though she never ended up doing anything because it was a catfish.
Child, I know you lying.
But he's basically like, he don't even count her as a wife. He don't even count her as a wife. So wife 2 Janelle, he don't hang out with her. He don't do nothing with that lady. Okay, so wife 2 is Janelle. They seem like they get along from a friendship level, but it don't seem like they really. And it kind of like the pandemic broke them, not broke them up. It put stress on their relationship because she has older children. She has adult children, and she was like, "I'm not putting my kids out because you're here like maybe every fourth day or something. I'm not coming and put my kids out for you to come in here every fourth day. Like, I'm not doing that." So that caused some conflict.
And this Christine is the first wife.
That's the second wife.
Jesus.
The third wife is Christine. That's the one that left. That's the one that left. She was like, "I'm done with this. You clearly prefer your fourth wife, Robin, who's the youngest and who there was the largest distance between when they got married." So 1, 2, and 3, I think they all got married within 5 years of each other. And then Robin came along like 15 years later, 13, 15 years later or something. So
he was really living his life, wasn't he?
So Christine, wife 3, was just like, I'm not doing that with you. You clearly prefer that wife, and you're mad I'm not nice to her. You're mad that I'm not in her ass and running to take care of her kids, because Christine was like the child rearer of the family, but Christine's kids are old, so she raised her kids and wife 2, Janelle's kids, together. But she was like, I'm not raising another round of kids. Like, my kids are mostly grown. Like, I have one little, but I'm not raising a whole bunch of more kids. Like, are you out of your mind? No, and her kids are like having kids and stuff. She's like, I'm a grandma. I'm going to hang out with my kids. So anyways, child. So she didn't.
I'm going to hang out with my kids for me.
So
what?
Still traveling during the pandemic, going to Utah to see her kids and stuff, right? So Cody was like, you don't respect the boundaries that I've put up. And she was like, that's fine. I'm still going. Now he's all like yelling about, oh, the kids. We got to stay together for the kids. And she's like, huh? No. One of their children together had a whole back surgery in New Jersey during the pandemic, and he did not go. He was at home with Robin, wife 4. And guess who actually brought the COVID into the household? Robin, because Robin has a nanny, and the nanny got exposed. So the nanny was the one who brought the COVID, and they didn't end up having COVID, and then Janelle got COVID, but that was after the fact. But they didn't end up actually having COVID, but it was Robin that was the reason why they were all like, oh crap, gotta be careful now. After
this
all
is
that,
crazy. Sister Wives is a lot.
Sister Wives is a lot. If you watch binge last season, and then watch this season, because it's going to be a disaster.
So since you're over there in the TLC streets, are you watching that 90 Day Fiance and Love After Lockup is on Oxygen, or is it We?
I do watch Love After Lockup, but I binge it. I don't watch it in real time. It's on.
I'm wondering, like, should we start watching
Weed.
that and reviewing it? Y'all let us know, you know, when you watch.
Let us know if you watch Love After Lockup. What
Girl,
else do I watch?
On a tangent.
We did, because Sister Wives has been good. And Seeking Sister Wives was a hot mess. Like, you have to go, if you don't do anything else that I say today, go watch episode 1 of Seeking Sister Wife, and you're gonna be like, what in the hell is this? So good.
I'm not ready.
The only thing I had any more thoughts on, which is also mess, is a few minutes of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm vaguely caught up. I don't really know what's going on because I've missed episodes in between.
So. Okay, here's the thing. I hate that they're going to make me be on Erica's side, but I think that it's time that Garcelle comes off of it. I think that it's time that Crystal comes off of it. I'm tired of hearing the victims. And, like, I understand in my mind that, like, yes, there are victims, and I get that, like, that money belongs to the victims. However, asking Erica to shoulder the burden when she didn't defraud anybody. She benefited, but she didn't do the defrauding. And, like, they are holding her to an account in a way I don't think is fair. And she kind of said it, but I just don't think it's fair, like, how they're treating her. So they're like, every time
they went off last week.
She did, and they deserved it. So she was talking about, they were talking about some earrings that she had that apparently had come directly from the money from, like, the trust fund or whatever that Tom had embezzled. And so they were like, why you didn't get the earrings back? And she was like, well, it's a legal proceeding, and I'm waiting for them to tell me what I owe back. Like, I'm waiting for them to tell me what I have to give back. And to me, in my opinion, I feel like there's nothing wrong with her saying that, because it's like, she didn't do anything wrong. Her life, I mean, that's debatable, but her life was 20, 30 years with this guy. Some of the money might have actually been legit. Like, some of the money, every single dollar that he made and every single gift that he gave her did not come from this defrauded money.
The scamming of those people,
years. So she's waiting for the forensic accountants to come in and be like, girl, that did come. I'm going to have to need that back. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm going to need that ring back. I'm going to need this back. And it's like, I don't see any problem with her doing that. Like, would it maybe simplify things for them, for her to just give the stuff back? Maybe. But it's like, they're still going to do the accounting, and they're still going to give her a bill like, this is what you owe. So why shouldn't she, like, preempt that and get in front of it? I don't understand what they want from her. Like, she did not defraud these people.
Right.
Her husband.
I think part of it too is also, like, they're expecting for her to have, like, this sympathy and feel all these ways about the victims, and she's just kind of like, okay, because they've been going through this for what, almost 2 years, right? Didn't it start in 2020? So at this point, I guess that she's past that point, and they're expecting her to still be there, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and she's just like, look, they're not my, and the way she has phrased it has not been. The way she has phrased it has been insensitive. That's what I'll say. I will say that. It has been insensitive. And she's just kind of like, they're not my victims. And I'm like, you know,
like, I didn't do it.
That's not the right thing to say, but that is the truth. They aren't her victims. These people are coming back after her for the money that she spent, that her husband gave her to spend. But her husband is the one. And that's what pisses me off more than anything. Is like, Tom lived a full life. He scammed his way right on into his old age. And, you know, based on what they said about his memory and all this stuff, like, none of this is probably even any concern to him at this point. But you have left people here to, like, clean up this mess, namely your wife. Like, that's really effed up. And I don't feel like I feel like I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, not too much on Erica, like, enough already.
Yeah.
That's an unpopular opinion. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but that's mine.
I mean, at some point you gotta let that shit go.
Yeah.
So
now, if the courts call her and ask her for the earrings back, and she is like, nah, I'm not giving them back, then that's different. But them discovering that the earrings came from whatever, it's like they ain't asked for them back yet. So,
I mean, well, they might now because it's been talked about on television. But prior to that, like, we didn't know about that, and they may not have it either. So yeah. All right. Do you have any other shows that you want to cover? We've been here about an hour.
Yeah, almost an hour. No, I think that's pretty much it. I've been like slowly catching up with everything, so I'll be back with Love and Marriage Huntsville next week and Married to Mid. And y'all drop down in the comments and let us know what you are watching, what you would like us to cover in our reality recaps. And that's it, child. That's all I got.
Child, we back. That's really it. We had to get back into the swing of things.
All right, well,
thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next week with the mess. Bye. Mm-hmm.